So Rep. Elise Stefanik is a Republican out of New York, and she calls out Letitia James, but mostly about the weaponization of the government, about Biden specifically targeting the J6ers who she's been defending. I have to be very careful how I talk about this, obviously. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug Tenaple. This is where the happy patriots are. I'm glad you guys are hanging out with us, but let's watch her on NBC Meet the Press just smash them. Remember, Elise Stefanik is the gal who got the president of Harvard, Claudia Gay, fired, was over this kid, Elise Stefanik, calling them out for their anti-Semitism on campus. This is from Justin Barragona on Twitter, said, Kristen Welker on Meet the Press. So do you think it was a tragic day? Do you think that the people who stormed the Capitol, this is on J6, should be held responsible to the full extent of the law? And Elise Stefanik said, I have concerns about the treatment of the January 6th. She called them hostages, which I love that term. Julie Kelly said, good for Elise Stefanik. Joe Biden literally just bragged about J6ers serving 840 years in prison, and we're supposed to believe this is a normal prosecution. Hostages is correct. There's been a lot of criticism about the J6ers because how do you get all of that many prosecutions without one of the J6ers in defense winning their case? Courts never get 100% conviction rate on cases.
On the issue of election integrity, though, as you know, Trump took his case to court more than 60 times that there was fraud. He didn't win. But I want to get back to this key question. Do you still think it was a tragic day? Do you think that the people who stormed the Capitol should be held responsible to the full extent of the law?
I have concerns about the treatment of January 6 hostages.
There you go, hostages. They're not getting their fair court date. They're not getting their lawyers. They're not getting due process. This is not America. I just want you to think about all the Democrats, how they are about criminals and people who are the down and out, how they're often victims. They often have a lot of sympathy for the people in defense, except for on J6. Then they're just like, yeah, let them rot, lock them up. They had more sympathy for Muslim terrorists during Gitmo trials, coming out and defending them, saying, where's their rights? Where's their lawyer?
I have concerns. We have a role in Congress of oversight over our treatments of prisoners. And I believe that we're seeing the weaponization of the federal government against not just President Trump, but we're seeing it against conservatives. We're seeing it against Catholics. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so proud to serve on the Select Committee on the Weaponization of the Government, because the American people want answers. They want transparency. And they understand that as you look across this country, there seems to be two sets of rules. If your last name is Clinton or it's Biden, you get to live by a different set of rules than if you're an everyday patriotic American.
This is true. We've been calling this out for weeks now, actually months, on the two-tiered justice system. And also that you don't get normal treatment. You go try and cheat on $1 million worth of your taxes and see if you get the same treatment as Hunter Biden did. They will come to your house and they will take you out of bed. You'll be in your underwear and they'll have you at gunpoint. That's what happens when normal people do on their taxes, what Hunter Biden did. Why is there a two-tier justice system? And it's because the Democrats have weaponized and politicized all of our major institutions.
I've been clear, Kristen, if you go back and play the full speech I gave on the House floor, I condemn the violence, just like I condemn the violence of the BLM riots, but I also importantly stood for election integrity and security of our elections, which if we don't have that, we do not have a democracy. So the real threat to our democracy is these baseless witch hunt investigations and lawsuits against President Trump, whether it's Tish James or whether we see in the D.C. Circuit Court.
I like that she called out Tish James. That's Letitia James. She's called Tish James on Twitter. Letitia James is probably one of the biggest frauds against Trump. So she's the one who has the New York where they went after Trump for overvaluing his property and saying that he cheated on business in New York. So he can no longer do business in New York. His sons can't do business in New York for 5 years. And it was all considered pretty normal stuff they brought in real estate expert and bank after bank saying what he did was normal. In other words, they still loved doing business with him. He paid off all of his debts. There was no crime. So then this judge calls him, that's that Ergeron, they called him Judge Nudie. Judge Ergeron calls in Trump. There's no jury. There's no one there whom he can appeal to with evidence. They're all just appointed Democrats. It's a Democrat judge, Democrat prosecutors, Democrat attorney generals, Democrat special prosecutors with Jack Smith. Democrat appointments is who he's against.
And that is undemocratic, and it's shredding our Constitution. And you know who agrees with me, Kristen? The American people. That's why President Trump is winning in poll after poll against Joe Biden.
And that's where our confidence comes from. You, the American people. Don't be afraid, guys, because you're totally conceding ground, going, oh, the judges are too much and the system's corrupt and everyone's we have no power. No, the American people have power. We may not be awakened to it yet, but it will come to be that the American people always have the power. And that's regardless of voting. It's regardless of trends, and it's regardless of fashion. In the end, America, it's the people who are going to end up liberating Trump, creating a giant win, and putting away the Democrats by just embarrassing them at the ballot box. You'll see.
Justice Department has indicted a number of top name Democrats as well, including the president's son twice. So, I mean, a lot of critics would argue that.
Look at her eyes bulging out of her head as she says, look, they indicted the president's son, Hunter Biden. That's after they dismissed most of his tax violations. They let the clock run out on the statute of limitations on him, on his biggest, most egregious offenses, the ones that would have really exposed Joe Biden and shown him to be involved in bribery by other countries. Hunter, who is a drug dealing, underage prostitute using, we have videos, actual videotapes of him using crack, naked, holding a gun when he's a felon. He's not supposed to own an unregistered gun. This guy is just a criminal up one side. The idea that she would say that that's equal to Trump, who they found some documents in his basement at Mar-a-Lago, in a vault in Mar-a-Lago, while Hunter Biden's dad, Joe Biden, has these files strewn about his garage. And she's making a moral comment. Shame on you. This is not serious journalism. NBC is the loser in this exchange, and we're mocking them all the way to 2024 when we say it together, get President Trump back in the White House. I'm Doug in Exile. Subscribe.